Justice and Correctional Services Minister Ronald Lamola has confirmed that Dr Nandipha Magudumana will appear in a Bloemfontein court today. She's accused of murder as well as helping convicted rapist and murderer Thabo Bester to escape from prison. Our reporter Athi Mtongana was at this morning's briefing in Parliament and she joins us live. Athi, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but it did appear that the ministers refused to answer a number of questions, citing the fact that they were appearing before the Portfolio Committee.
Exactly, Michelle. You would recall what I told you earlier on this morning, because even from yesterday, we tried to speak to the Minister of Correctional Services, Ronald Lamola, as well as the Minister of Police, Bekitele, but they literally ran away from the media, saying that they will not divulge or go into details around the circumstances surrounding Thabo Bester's escape, because they are waiting for the officials that are representing their departments to be able to brief the Portfolio Committee, and then after that, will they be able to answer thoroughly questions that will be posed to them by members of the media at least. But of course, what we know after the briefing today, this morning, it's that Thabo Bester has been readmitted at the Kgosi Mampuru Maximum Correctional Services facility, and that Dr Nandipha will also be making a court appearance in Bloemfontein. Now, we asked the Police Commissioner, Fani Masemula, whether Thabo Bester will also be making a court appearance separately, and he said to us, well, it will be either in Gauteng or in the Free State in the next couple of days. He wasn't actually pinpointing a day as to when Thabo Bester will be making his appearance, because, Michelle, remember, he's an escapee. He's someone that was in prison, but he has now recommitted other crimes, and so he will have to be in front of a court to face the new charges, the additional charges that will be placed on the charge sheet. They wouldn't even be able to go into those details, Michelle, the Minister of Police and the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, about the charges that these people face. But of course, about 3 people linked to the Thabo Bester escape have been arrested. One in for questioning, who was allegedly driving a white Porsche vehicle belonging apparently to Dr Nandipha. That person has been in for questioning for quite some time. They don't have something concrete to actually have him under arrest, so he's going through a process of being questioned under custody, and then of course including then the arrest of Dr Nandipha and the rearrest of Thabo Bester. It makes it about 5 people around this particular case that have been arrested, including the 2 in question in this particular story.
Some interesting sort of insight there provided by one of the ministers into how the 2 behaved when they were arrested in Tanzania, saying Dr Nandipha Magudumana actually cooperated with officials.
Yes, first of all, Michelle, I need to mention that they were chartered into South Africa, and you would know, as well as our viewers, that they arrived at around 4 a.m. this morning. Now, they did speak to the behavior of both of them, Michelle, saying that Dr Nandipha was very cooperative. I'm sure you would have seen those images on social media where she was being escorted by members of the South African police going into a vehicle where she is now fully under arrest. Now, with regards to Thabo Bester, the officials here are telling us that he was the least cooperative. In fact, they say he wasn't cooperative. So those are the kind of details that they went into. But other than that, Michelle, they are going to be answering many of the questions that we had, at least as members of the media, when members of Parliament get to pose their questions at around 9:30 this morning. So the situation that we see here, Michelle, is where in that Portfolio Committee meeting, they will then go into the details. For example, I asked whether the reports about the Deputy Minister of Justice and Correctional Services allegedly having received an email notifying him of this escape, and what the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services was informed, when he was informed, what actions were taken, and whether these things are actually going to be responded to, we will definitely hear when they make that appearance before the Portfolio Committee. But also another important thing, Michelle, now that we're talking about cooperation and the lack of cooperation by Thabo Bester, it's also important to note that the police have also highlighted that it was difficult at the beginning to get the cooperation of the G4S multinational security company to give them details around the escape of Thabo Bester. So those are some of the details that we are receiving on the story, Michelle.
Yeah, and as far as how much the Minister Ronald Lamola knew, when he knew it, and what he did about it insofar as Thabo Bester's escape from prison is concerned, we've been promised to get those answers at the Portfolio Committee. Athi Mtongana, live to us there in Cape Town.